Welcome back to ESEA Premier Europe. We're into the last map of the series between Hellraisers and Saw. And of course, it's Inferno. It's almost like most of these best of three series just come straight into the middle of the map pool. It's the most comfortable map to decide a series for a hell of a lot of these teams. And, I'm not sure which way it's going to go. I feel like both of these teams showed us a really good map each. And, I think that this is a map that both teams have quite a few reps on, Wolfie, right?
Yeah, I mean, Saw took down your Aussie boys on it earlier today, right? 16-10.
Come on,
So
man.
just to really rub it in and bring that one up
Too
again.
soon.
I think the main problem for Saw is going to be bringing that momentum back, right? We know they're a really good team. They've got some pretty impressive stats on Inferno as well. I think they're knocking on the door of a 70% win rate.
Yep.
It's just a question of can they keep doing it, right? They've just been absolutely decimated on train, for want of a better word. And I'm not sure it's going to be a matter of can they get back in? Can they pick themselves back up? And can they come out firing on Inferno?
Well, about 20 seconds till we get into the game here, Dean. I feel like last map kind of individually outshone Hellraisers were over Saw, but obviously you can get a little bit of that structure going, and the side is going to make a little bit of a difference. So, which way are you feeling like this one's going to go?
I'm kind of with you where there is that little bit of worry, Wolfie, that Saw might not be able to get that momentum back after having such a tough time on train. But I think Inferno is a map that also fits a lot better to their own playstyle. As you said, had a very impressive win on it just earlier on. You had HR on the other hand. They've lost it their last 4 times, I believe, that they played Inferno. So yeah, it's a tough one to call because you could have Hellraisers come in and just keep up that kind of performance from train, but you could have Saw waking back up. We know they're more than capable of it. I expect more than just to be coming alive as well. And well, for Hellraisers, they're the ones who find that opening kill. Nades up into the apartments, taking down Muteris in the early moments, and then a charge right back up Banana over towards B. That's where the hit's going to come in, and currently there is 2 players here to try and hold off. Make it 1. Kalinka, as he was running through the smoke, takes off the head of the Dodo, and Liam's takes out Just Rather, and this round's done. It is basically done at this point. Arky and Roman may as well back away and have a kit and armor to work with in this next round, where you very likely go for the force buy, because you don't normally see that third round gun round on Inferno.
In a nutshell, that was every single thing I was worried about for Saw happening simultaneously. Mad aggression initially, the second mid push really nicely read again. I think Hellraisers have definitely done their homework on this team, as Arky does just look for what exits he can find. It definitely seems like they know what they're playing against, right? Double stack of the nades into second mid, catches the man early on. That's a huge frag, and it forces Saw to commit to the 2-2 setup, right? 2 players either side of the bomb site. So they just group up HR. It's like, fine, if you're going to stack things up, we'll just go straight into a bomb site and trade you. And as a matter of fact, they didn't even need the trades to start coming through. It's only exit frags for Saw. And what a clean start that is for HR, carrying all of that momentum back around. A nice clean shot, as you do see the replays, the zoom showing just how precise he was. But Saw, I think they need to get themselves into this game early. Otherwise, HR are just going to keep rolling off the back of that momentum.
Yeah, certainly a possibility after what we've seen back on train. It's certainly going to be harder for Gospodarov at least to get his op going here on the T side of Inferno, but he wasn't even the main fragger in that previous one. You had Kalinka and Lame waking up, Flourish with his moments, Problem even coming alive as well. So I'm not too sure, honestly, how big of a factor lacking the AWP might even be if they decide to avoid it, as some teams do here on Inferno on the T side. Obviously, though, up against the Force Buy right now, they do have mostly rifles. One Galil and SMG being the Mac 10 on Flourish, which gets them a few extra nades, and also kind of just gives them that player that can scout out once they do start going in for a hit to be the one in the front of the pack. And if you somehow manage to run into a stack or something, then at least it's not going to be too much you give away. But it's a pretty slow round so far. They're running down the few nades that Saw actually had available. You see the last smoke is put down in towards middle with still a minute remaining, so that's just not really going to do too much. If HR wanted, they could move back in there in a moment, easily take the control and just open up all of the options for themselves, which does look to be the goal because they've already got full banana control.
They've got a lot of control to work with, and there's not a lot of pushback from Saw whatsoever. Harky throws one of the remaining flashes, now down to the last man, and these smokes, They've not committed bomb behind them. They're just looking to draw the rotations, looking to flank round in towards CT. And as Problem finds the first pick, that becomes a serious issue. Muteris, he's toying with going through this smoke, but as just misses his initial shot. This is falling apart. Flaric with the quick trade, only a 1-for-1 on Stadodo. And again, just ripped apart at the seams by HR. Frags across the board. T-side will get the bomb down over on the B bomb site. And Rome, well, one frag, an exit. Maybe even try and salvage a rifle off the likes of Gospodarov on just 47 HP. But realistically, second round on the board for HR, looking pretty damn clean while they go about it. And I'm already starting to worry a little bit for Saw.
Yeah, I mean, Hellraisers, Inferno, the names just make sense. This should be their best map. So maybe they've been working on it just for that sake, just so it matches up with their name. But yeah, Roman, he's forced into the save. I'll stop being silly. Not able to get anything done, as you said. No real damage. 1 kill on Problem, which, well, isn't going to be an issue. It was only the 1 SMG that they actually lose. Flaric, I believe, he can dig a little back up after he went down. So no real damage being done. Now there's just an MP9 in this next round for Saws. They'll have to take an eco behind it. I wouldn't imagine really any pistols can even be bought up because, as we always mention, the nades obviously are so important here on a map like Inferno. You can't afford to go into that first gun round without smokes and mollies onto at least the majority of players. So they are at most going to bring out 1 flash there on Arky, a P250 on Stadodo, and I wasn't even really quite expecting that, if I'm being honest. Can they get anything done? I mean, alongside the MP9, maybe with a bit more aggression, perhaps if they had a stack, but it does seem like things are being kept pretty standard here in the opening moments, which I don't always love, but we'll see what can be done with it. Roman, I mean, that's adventurous, wanting to beat down mid with an MP9. He did obviously have the flash come in and tried to bait out a few shots, but I mean, even if he baited out the shot of, like, I don't even know, there's no upper obviously, and he should know that, so even if he baits out a shot or two, then he tries to keep quiet, takes the fight at long range with an MP9, there's still plenty of time for that player to recompose their spray, so it was interesting. I guess trying to find if anyone was up close and blinded. But you needed something more. I think with kind of the weakness of this buy in these early moments, you needed an advantage to sit on, maybe even a weapon stolen away just to give that little bit extra to work with. And perhaps that could still come because Roman is going to have a couple players up close on the apps. This is the perfect position for the MP9.
Definitely needs at least a couple here. Give his teammates something to maybe anchor around. As you said, the crossfires are good. The setup is brilliant, but the Molotov is a little bit better. Rome, he will have been heard as well. Problem actually takes a dink through the smoke, but already Lames managed to find a pick. Nice trade coming in, but that's actually drawn the CT rotation away. For a split second, they were committing. Bomb still all the way back on the T ramp has slowed this HR kit to a crawl. Well, the CTs, they're going to get all the time in the world to make these rotations. Hellraisers, without that bomb, didn't want to commit initially. Now the util will start to come in. Missed smoke gives an open angle for Rome, and he'll take the pick. Flaric removed from the equation, and so much damage done. Gospodarov, just 3 HP. That MP9 still causing a nuisance in towards the pit. There's 10 seconds left. Gospodarov, he's got to go, and he can't make it happen. Saw out of absolutely nothing, get themselves around on the board, and a huge opportunity to start building something on their CT side.
Yeah, as we needed for them to come alive here in the early moments, they are able to go ahead and deliver in a very impressive fashion. We do have a pause coming in from HR, we've just been informed. Probably a tactical after letting that one slip. In the third map, even though it's still early moments, you may as well be getting these pauses in, making sure that you're able to take these important swing rounds because, well, as it's been mentioned, this is such an important match because, well, HR, they're 1-4. They basically need to win this to stop themselves from being almost certainly in relegation. And on the other hand, Saw, despite having a great start in the season, now sitting at 3-2. If they lose this one at 3-3, then just around the middle of the scoreboard, not what they would have wanted for sure. I think for Hellraisers though, this season is more about just making sure they stay in it and getting Gospodarov kind of used to this level of competition and getting him fit into the roster. If that's what they go with, I don't know if he is their fifth for certain or anything, or maybe it's just a trial. I don't think any news has been given on that exactly, right?
No, I haven't seen anything lying about, but we'll have to wait and see with bated breath what they want to play for. Kalinka, well, he's waited, he's seen, and he's taken a nade to the face, down to 13 HP from the stack early on, and just the straight apartments pop going to come out from Hellraisers here. A little bit of a firepower disadvantage, looking at overwhelm with numbers here. Till comes over the top. Pop flashes are in, but they're not blinding their man at all. Rome with the open spray down 3. out of 3. Perfect stats for him on towards the balcony. And yeah, this is just about mopping up now. Kalinka, 13 HP, as I said, those nades doing so much work. He's hoping for a nasty timing, but Sododo through the smoke will make sure that is not going to happen. Gospadarov left with the impossible chance of trying to clean up a 1v5, trying to get anything on the board. He's nice and crisp for the first, but now with his position known, CT side will start rotating in. Rome will add to his tally on a very impressive round from him. And Saw, with 4 players left alive, will get themselves their second round, drawing things level. And I've got to say, this is much more like it. This is the Saw we saw on Nuke.
Yeah, at least it looks to be. It's still early days, so I want to make sure that we are going to be getting it across the board. But as we said, I mean, you have Roman right now playing a great game in these early moments. You have Stododo and Arky looking all right as well. It's not just, he hasn't even got a kill yet. He was the man who had 22, I think, at one point when everyone else on the team had 10 or 9. I think they were all around that area. So it's good to see that he's not the one who's needed, at least in these initial moments, because then if you do have him wake up as well, yeah, things could get scary for Hellraisers. And, well, in this round anyway, they are, because they don't really have anything to work with. A few upgraded P250s and, well, a chance to maybe get a couple of kills. A bomb plant would be nice, but I'm not expecting it. It should be 3-2 for Saw, ideally without really losing too many of these players as well, so that they can really build up that economy. It's decent now, but obviously, you want to try and have enough in the reserve on everyone for a full investment, and preferably even a bit more. Otherwise, you can be kind of looking at basically what happened to Saw back on the CT side of Train, where their economy was just never really in place. Yeah, passive play as well. So they're not looking to give anything away here. They were playing just the kind of peek on Banana as soon as they spotted someone backing away. And, well, given the chance for the control of Hellraisers want it, but they've got so little to work with that they still need to be cautious basically as they move forward. Oh, that looked like it was going to be on. Apparently not. A little bit over the shoulder.
Moving up, HR. They've got their opportunity. Dink's coming through just on 4 HP, and he's only got 1 man in support. They have to be careful here, and as Kalinka finds the first, if he takes out Just, then potentially this is on, but the timing's not quite good enough. Claridge left with the 1v4. I mean, we said they wanted to keep most rifles alive. If Just can hang on 4 HP, with all likelihood, they will have 4 players remaining in the server, and he cleans things up nicely. Saw, for a split second, looked nervous there. 2 players in towards CT. If there was a smoke on the board, potentially a bomb plant, and that extra cash investment could have come through from HR, but just not quite enough utility, not quite enough firepower to get it over the line. Still going to be buying strongly into this one, of course. 4 AKs, Galil coming out for Problem, the only real sacrifice. Problem being, Stododo does have that big green gun uncontested. I suspect he's going to go for some fairly aggressive peaks for now. Posted on the half wall up Banana, and actually Arky starting to swing things down mid, a risky peak as the control starts to come through. Double Molotov coming out from the CT side. Nade stack to follow. They want to try and give the idea that they're contesting this Banana control early.
Yeah, well, they're hoping that'll maybe push the Hellraisers players over into what is pretty much an A stack, as Just has already rotated back around. But not really, because Lame had already gotten himself on towards Banana, so he knew that they hadn't fully committed down at the very least. He's now pushed up towards the half wall as well, and has gotten full control around that area for Hellraisers with still a lot of time, and with everyone else getting ready to push in on mid. Obviously, they're going to run into a bit of a crossfire here, but they have the nades to work with. They can cut off one of those angles and aim to just pressure one of these players. The only thing is that smoke is going to delay the plan for at least a few more seconds. I think there's a gap around the edge of that, actually looking at it on the radar. No, apparently not. Radar smoke just not fully filling it up. You can see what I'm talking about, though.
Yeah.
Oh,
Still a
Arky's
couple
been
of
spammed up,
smokes.
as has Mutrus. They're both forced back. Full mid control given away now. And there's still enough time for them to move back towards B, which is exactly what they're going to do with the bomb. And, well, Saw have no idea. They still have Just over towards Library, so it's the Dodo alone on the op over towards B with absolutely no info until this hit starts coming in.
This has got to be a miracle play. Hot Flash at least doesn't blind him. He needs multiple frags here. Finds his first man. Drops the smoke to give him a little more room to breathe. He's looking for the reface, and he'll get it as well. Pushed down. He's going to find the no-scopes. The Dodo's done it. He's bought so much time. The trades will come through for HR, but with 6 seconds left, Problem's got to stick this bomb plant. He's trying to bait them in. It's an awkward spray. It won't matter. It's all Stododo. The B anchor goes absolutely huge on the AWP. You could not ask any more of your AWP. 2 picks, uses the utility well to isolate himself, and we're going to see it again here. Nice first shot. There goes the smoke. That gives him the room. And as they go through, seeing the shadows, no scope connects. Absolutely perfect for Saw.
Yeah, that third one especially, the smoke down, forcing the player into him. Otherwise, there was no way he was getting away with the 3 kills, let alone 2. I think at that point he might have even been traded if the smoke wasn't there to block him off. Oh, Flarich. Okay, he's gone ahead and picked himself up an opening kill. I think that was from second mid. Yeah, must have had a player peek up through the apartments, and indeed that was the case. Muthorus gets punished. The weapon shouldn't really be retrieved unless, of course, Saw don't bother getting rid of it. And well, yeah, they actually don't. There could have been players already up close in the apartment, so they don't want to push in close and have those pistols in positions where they're favored. So yeah, potential weapon to be taken away here. What is it exactly? An AK. There we go. Give it preferably to one of the players with the Kevlar, and then you suddenly have actually a decent investment here to work with those pistols and a decent amount of utility as well. So we'll see what can be done. Saw, if they end up losing this one, they have some money in the reserve, but in the case of Arky especially, we would see a drop needing to come in, and that would pretty much expend everything that they have.
Exactly as you said. This is not a done deal by any stretch of the imagination. HR, plenty of individuals who can pop off on the likes of a Deagle, a Tech 9. Problem, Hero AK could do some real work. 40 seconds left on the clock. Arky does have a Molotov in towards CT. That could prove critical. There's only one smoke on the T side. It's on Problem, and he uses it for CT. If that molly goes down, it could be huge. It's a little late, though, and the pop flash is perfectly timed. Justice trying to get what he can done from Dark, but he's isolated. He's alone. Spray down somehow connects for 2 before the trade, and Gospodarov on low HP makes this viable. Saw again bailing themselves out of dodge over on this B bomb site. Problem last alive, does well to get the first, baits the second as well. Stododo goes for it. It's all on Rome, 1v1. Problem baits it a third time, goes for the peak and finds it. HR, a huge clutch from Problem. 4 in the round, a 1v3. And at what point are they going to realize he's faking that bomb plant?
Ah, lads, just peek it together, like, come on. Like, especially here at the second one, the smoke starts fading away, he's already pushing through. You may as well have just had the teammate there ready to try to trade. I understand the time's getting relatively low, but there's the chance that that happens. So try and play it a little bit more off of each other. 3 1v1s, and obviously fantastically played by Problem. You can't take that away from him at all, but it maybe could have been played a little bit cleaner there by Saw as well, as a ridiculous clutch comes in a round that HR had no business winning. Remember, all they had was a few pistols in towards that one. They stole away the AK off of Flarich's initial peak, and, well, they made it work for a round win. All of the money's being put into this one now from Saw. Lose this, they're on an eco. Hellraisers start running away with a great lead here in the early moments of Inferno. And well, Flarich, he might have more openings towards A. This time he's pushed up aggressively himself in the apps, and he's the sole man here just lurking while the rest of his teammates look to take it on towards B. So he's probably going to wait to catch those rotations.
Some timings on the board here. 4 players queued up. Stododo's actually gone ahead of the smoke, trying to give himself an opportunity to find a pick and fall back through it. Teammate there in the form of Just. Here comes the utility. Here comes the commitment. Awkward molly for Stododo. That's bounced off the wall. He's not going to be able to contest at all. Flarich strikes at the perfect moment. Just at least able to get one, but the trade is near enough immediate. Arky actually managing to find a refrag through it as well. Chaos leaves us in the 3v3. No utility really for either side. A couple of nades lurking for the CTs as Stododo shift walking his way in towards the coffins, trying to clear these initial angles. Nobody is giving him anything, though. Molotov flushes the first man. Kalinka goes down. And now that site player needs to buy time. Problem has to find multiple kills, and it's not going to happen. It's all onto Gospodarov. His position known as he finds the first man. Picks off the second, though. And now Muthorus, with time not on his side, has got to make a choice. He's got to make a decision. Gospodarov wants nothing to do with it, baiting the movement forward and back. There's no time left. Muthorus can't possibly get it done. He knows he's got to save. And as you said, that's all the money. That's everything gone for Saw. They have no more cash left in the bank. It surely has to be the eco around that saved AWP.
Yeah, you pointed out at least they do manage to save the up, but that's going to be it. A few pistols maybe behind it due to the 2400 loss bonus, but there shouldn't be much more than that. And, well, at the moment, we're just getting clutch plays from Hellraisers. We have the newcomer even stepping up, only getting 2 of the 3 necessary kills, but obviously he ran down the time and ensures his teammates now have put it in a fantastic position, tied up at 4-4, and with the Force Buy actually coming in behind that saved AWP because of the fact that Dodo survives. So in a weird, twisted way, the fact that Gaspadarov doesn't get that final kill could work in their favor if they punish this Force Buy now. But we'll see if that is possible. Roman, though, the shotgun in a perfect position in the apartments, makes one kill, working well with the MP9 up close. I was going to say the damage could also be capitalized on, and look how low he puts both Gaspadarov and Problem. That is going to make it so difficult now. Lame pretty much has to get all of the heavy lifting done.
Timing's on the board as well, just toying with the idea of going through that smoke instead. Opts to back off. Coffin's not a particularly favourable angle for the MP9, and he's left alone on this bomb site as well. As the full hit looks to come in, as you said, plenty of damage at least. Gaspadarov and Problem both low. Surely the spray aware of that, so potentially some timings. Damage through the smoke could be critical. Flank looking to come in early as well. Muteris and Stododo, they're going to clear their way down Banana. I think Just is just going to back out of this situation entirely. Maybe look to deny bomb plant. Looks to go through. Pop flash is good, denies it. Traded though. And 2v2, this Banana control becomes everything. Problem not expecting it this quickly, looking completely the wrong way. No health to work with. He goes down, and Lame can't correct the spray. It saw again, bailing themselves out of dodge. Very nice combo with the auto shotgun and the MP9. And from there, the damage on the board, they find the conversion. They find their 5th round. And for once, the back and forth buys, they're not favoring the T side whatsoever. They're going to be looking at an eco.
Yeah, it shows how quick the situation can change for either of these teams right now. I think we have a fantastic game potentially ahead of us if this back and forth affair keeps up. The only thing is, on the CT side, that can be risky, but at the moment, they've managed to come out on top of it, as you said. Up against an eco, there is a lot of damage done before this close creep on mid comes in, and well, it looked like the flash was actually going to allow them to find maybe at least one kill right there, but no, they get torn apart. As I had said, some initial nades going down, tagged up a player to like 10 health even before they get moving in, and well, yeah, not a single casualty for Saw. The cleanest of anti-ecos they could have asked for, apart from a few nades needing to be rebought. 6-4, it's still relatively early days. Obviously, though, Inferno is one of those maps that has definitely shifted over towards the T side in this online era, and it even begun to do so beforehand. So it's one where Hellraisers are ideally looking for at least 7 rounds, I would say. So yeah, grinding out 3 more, it's doable. But we all know Saw can come alive and really start locking down these CT sides.
Definitely feels like they've woken up once again, getting back into the swing of things. The individuals across the board coming out with performances. Muteris isolated, nade in hand, just gets caught completely off guard, and Gaspadarov, we wanted him to show up, gets 2 out of absolutely nowhere, and off the back of it, they're just going to go for this. Roman left with it all to do in towards the pit, and whiffs his spray onto Problem, can't find the adjustment. That came out of absolutely nowhere, and I think Saw immediately have to commit to the save. I mean, Stododo and Just, again, this back and forth, long may it continue. We say all the time, Inferno, it's the best finale to all the good best of threes, and it is turning up yet again. Gaspadarov out of absolutely nowhere. He's not having a particularly great game. He's gone up to 7 and 9 with those 2 kills. Just opens things up single-handedly. And from there, 1 frag to find. The man misses the spray. It's game over. There's nothing more Saw can do. A 5th round on the board for Hellraisers. You look over to that economy of the CT side. It should sustain them for at least 1 more. But once again, the T side, they've just opened the door right back into this half.
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be any sort of clear hold on the game right now. It's not like what we've seen on Nuke, where obviously you had the initial good start, but as soon as the guns came out, then it was just one-sided for Saw. It's not like what we've seen on Train, where once Hellraisers got going, they were pretty much just unstoppable. No, either team is just able to wake up depending on the round, depending on what weaknesses they might even have in the buy, and it's just making things very difficult to read. And I love chaotic CS. It can be tough to follow, but it's always very exciting. Obviously, though, 5-6 right now, 1 round in the difference. All of the money back into this round here for Saw as well. Meaning they do need to take this, otherwise Hellraisers pretty much already hit that 7-round mark that I said they would have been looking for. So this is a pretty crucial one for the CTs to try and keep their control on the game. Nades going over. Are they going to do damage? I do believe onto the player in the background. Yeah, Lame gets absolutely wrecked by them. Problem, he survives okay. On 88, I mean, it neutralizes the effect of his helmet pretty much up against those M4s, but he's not really too worried. Lame is the one who took the real brunt of that damage. They might not be exactly aware of it, obviously, on the side of Saw, but it will help once one of those hits actually begin to come in. The only thing is they're playing extremely passive, so they have very little control. Only now, actually, I believe, getting Arky to have a bit of a peek around mid to see what's going on. Oh, and a nice flash for Dodo to peek.
Smoke should give the game away. Nade will come in again and actually finds the conversion for them. Saw, you spoke about that opening damage. Comes up in a big way. An advantage found off the back of it, and some good damage onto Gospodarov and Kalinka as well. Problem even brought within the one-shot headshot for the M4s, and they've really got to commit at this point, Parry Match. They've got to go for it, HR. They're going to start to queue things up. Arky tucked into the library, swings out, gets the info, will start to call the rotations, and the mini pit setup so difficult to budge. Dodo from Graveyard finds one, traded quickly, and actually Kalinka able to grab another. Flourish just completely domes Rome in the mini pit. And this was the perfect setup. It's fallen apart. Bomb is dropped. Bottom of mid makes things awkward, but Gospodarov is there to trade his teammate's death. And Muteris with 10 seconds left denies the plant. Kalinka's got to go back and get that bomb, and he's got to stick this one down now. There's going to be no faking, no nonsense. Muteris getting close, getting personal to Kalinka. The nade actually does more damage to him than it does to Muteris, and he'll find the frag. Again, CT side, it's awkward, it's scrappy, it's all over the place, but somehow they keep getting these rounds together. A huge mistake from HR. Leaving that bomb on bracket made life so awkward, and it gave at least a free trade over to the CT side, ran the clock down, and in the end of the day, I think, honestly, if they had the bomb with them, that's their round.
Yeah, most likely. Having to go back, wasting those extra few seconds, given the rotation, letting Muteris get that second to last kill, let alone even the last one, because he catches the bomb crossing back over. So yeah, that really did fall apart due to the bomb, unfortunately, just not being ready for them to get that full commitment in. We'll see what can be done, because they are back on a buy. It's solid. There is only one player, I believe, lacking the weaponry, and that is Problem. And, well, you have Gospodarov just charging up mid on an AWP with zero fear. Absolutely zero fear right there. He just ran straight up. Didn't care. Unfortunately, didn't hit the shot onto the player on long, only seen a bit of the shoulder. But he's taken quite a bit of control and has shown the presence for these T's around mid already. Look at this. Lame is creeping through the smoke. He's going to get caught by the flash and, well, didn't expect Just to be up close on the sandbags. I was going to say it could have been Just who would be isolated around that area, potentially if smokes and some nades came in to kind of keep him trapped there. But obviously it was Lame just working in on his own. So no trades are prepared, and well, Hellraisers now on the back foot. Saw they could be heading towards a potential 10-5 half if they keep this up. And at that point, you're in a fantastic position.
Definitely feels like the utility has been the game changer for Saw. The setups are solid. Arky grabs himself another. Kalinka falls, baiting in to perfection for his teammate as well. Problem, no idea. The spray down good for two from Muteris, and it is just falling apart once more. Gospodarov, AWP in hand, 40 seconds left on the clock. That is an awful long time to try and save. He's going to make his way out. Keeps his hand on the AWP, at least for now. I wouldn't be overly surprised if at least one man goes on a little bit of a hunt, but Saw, I think, are going to be far happier keeping all 5 rifles on the board. Not going to waste any more cash trying to find this AWPer. Happy to just let the round tick on by, a handshake finish. And yeah, I mean, look over at that economy, right, for HR. You've got the AWP saved across. He's going to get no money from this. He's going to be on $0. Kalinka already on $0 will get a little loss bonus, but only one man even on 4 digits, and Lame's only got 1.5 grand. So as the clock ticks down, it's not a pretty look. Realistically, maybe some pistols, maybe a little bit of armor. Lame could pull out Hero AK if he wants to, but this round should be an easy enough conversion. And yeah, that pot flash, absolutely perfect. And again, Saw just doing the basics right. That's what we've said about them all the time. Their setups are solid, their utility is excellent, and they find the conversions off the back of it.
Yeah, and we're seeing another force buy actually coming in here from HR. They just want to keep the pressure on, and well, it hasn't been working over these past few rounds. It looked like it might have been the connection, but not quite. It's the molly instead that does do some damage to Dodo, and hasn't pinned in on sandbags with an AWP. Not the position you want to be in. Thankfully, he has been able to escape, of course, as the flashes came over from his teammates, and well, they just held off that push for the extra few seconds and even ended up doing some serious damage with the nades over the top of Banana. So yeah, now you have Gospodarov, the man on the op, most importantly, being taken down to 30 already, and you have Problem and Kalinka slightly tagged up, which is not going to be a fun time being limited with already only pistols in play onto those players. And well, it looks like they're going to still commit to B, where there's now a 3-man stack due to the pretty early warning that they were given about this hit.
No utility to stall it, though. Damage through the smoke is good. Stododo finds one. Muteris, as you said, rotating in early to find the trade. It's awkward, though. Just isolated on the bomb site now in the 3-on-2, trying to play around this smoke, trying to get anything he can done. Lame on the off angle, can't find the conversion, and as Problem trades, it's 2-on-1. He's got an AWP, and he'll start to make his way into construction, trying to isolate this early fight. Can't connect, though, and on just 15 HP now, his position is known. The molly is awkward. Arky caught with it in hand, but he'll find the round regardless. The force buy does not work for HR parry match, and as you said, right, it could have been a 10-5 half. It's starting to look like it might well pan out that way. 9-5, economy in the dumps for HR. They're going to bring out the SMGs, and I suspect we're going to see another very fast round out of them.
Well, they need to with the current investment. 4 Mac-10s, yeah, that sets up for the fast-paced round up banana, judging by the current spawns. And yeah, they're going to charge right up, taking so much damage on Flarage. And unfortunately, just not being able to catch those players before they fade right back off and drop a molly down. So it is going to be the man disadvantage as the actual sight hit comes in. Nice flash keeps them blinded with no vision as they move forward. And, well, he doesn't realize there's a player behind them in the pit. But he was still somehow able to get a kill from that position. And Stododo just rips off heads from the back. There it is. A very convincing end to the half from Saw. Are Hellraisers going to be able to step back up coming into the second half or not is the question. They need to. It is map number 3, but we need to send it to the break first, guys, so stick with us.
situación te asusta, enfréntala. Si la vida es injusta, tú grita, deja de callar, escucha. Si la alegría te abraza, acéptala. Si la suerte no te roza, búscala. Nunca te prives de la felicidad, de tu libertad. De tu libertad. De tu libertad. Tengo la fuerza, vivir no me espanta. Si me conoces, sabe bien que no soy santa. No me privo de lo que me encanta. Si no hay razones para que lo haga, no. Me gustan los problemas, sabe que yo ando como quiera, no digo que no. Yo soy a mi manera, no me arrepiento. Escucha mi consejo, mi amigo. Vive una vida llena de personas que te quieran, que te respeten de veras y que lloren cuando mueras. Deja de mirar la acera y levanta la cabeza. Sigue pa'lante y no temas, resolverás los problemas. Hay más, si una cosa no te gusta, cámbiala. Si la situación te asusta, enfréntala. Si la vida es injusta, tú grita, deja de callar, escucha. Si la alegría te abraza, acéptala. Si la suerte no te roza, búscala. Nunca te prives de la felicidad, de tu libertad. De tu libertad.
We are back, boys. If you weren't with us, we did, of course, just see Saw coming out with a 10-5 scoreline there on their CT side. And while that's not the worst result ever, you would say, 5 rounds on the T side of Inferno, it can be worked. But the issue is 6 of those last 7 rounds went the way of Saw. It seemed like Hellraisers were on track for an absolutely fantastic T side, and then Saw just woke up.
Yeah, that's all there is to it. The individuals, man, they were just on fire. I mean, we talk about Saw almost begrudgingly as this team that are very, strategy oriented, execute oriented, using the utility to put themselves in position to find trades. But there were some huge clutches, man. Stododo on the AWP obviously stands out, but Arky locking it down, just having some blinders, Muteris finding multi-kills. Everybody has been stepping up on the Saw side of things, and it's taken some pretty big clutches for HR to even find their 5 rounds. So heading onto the CT side, they need a pistol, they need a strong start, and they really need to build something into this half. It's going to be aggression up Banana early on. CT side looking to push back, and they're going straight down here. Gospataro, perfect timing. Flashes are good, and it's a 3-for-1 trade. Rome desperate to try and get something back. He actually manages to find another pick. And suddenly, with bomb down on logs, it's 2-on-2. Make it 1 problem. Lovely connection, and it's all on Rome. He's got 2 frags to his name, and he needs the quad kill to make something of this round.
Ooh, looks like he has an idea potentially there could be a flank coming in. Will he expect it to be coming in all the way around through the spawn, or could he have perhaps just taken it up mid onto A before it was even known by Lame? The issue is, no, he moves it back in through Banana, but you've seen the rotation problem has started to move around towards A, so it's actually B now that has been left completely open. Meaning the bomb plant should at least come in from Roman, but will he then expect such a quick flank coming back up through Banana? That's what I am wondering. It's actually going to be both players who look to join up, so Roman needs to get this bomb planted quickly here. Otherwise, he could have those players in behind them before he can even manage to get it down. Taking the moments to clear out the bomb site as you do need to, but as I said, now they're pretty much prepared for this already. They won't stop the bomb plant, but they are ready to move in. Never mind Roman. It's the first shot, gets the info of where indeed Problem is following up from, and uses that molly to ensure that he isn't able to get into the pit to play the headshot angle. Instead, he has to take the full-on fight, and without Kevlar against the Glock, that is an issue. Roman just running down the time from the back of quad and making sure Problem is going to have an issue with trying to get this defuse in. The issue is there's a kit in play, so it pretty much needs to be the kill that's found, and he can't make it happen in the end. So much patience from Problem. He covered about 2 feet worth of distance there, but it was so much side-to-side movement, just waiting on that opportunity to pretty much arise, and once it does, he snatches it up.
Rome makes it competitive at the very least, right? This aggression to open things up was absolutely critical, and Rome, he really had to get it all done here. He's trying to make that fight as awkward as possible. Kalinka couldn't quite connect, and from there, 2v1 finds himself the first, but as you said, so intelligently played. Problem just making sure he was as difficult as possible to hit, right? Swinging on the wide angle, getting himself in awkward spots, and finds himself the conversion. A critical round for HR. Of course, it's not going to get any easier. Bomb plant down for Saw, and these T-sided force buys are absolutely lethal. There's 4 rifles on the board, for heaven's sakes. Dodo drops down to a MAC-10, but everyone else has got Galils. There's an AK available for Rome, and over on the CT side of things, they've made the big call. They've gone for 4 MP9s, and Kalinka, he's the only person on that side to have a rifle.
Yeah, not ideal. As you said, there's overall better firepower on the side of Saw, but there is at least these nades. Problem having a molly as well that could be put down. Unfortunately, he drops the smoke even a little bit too late, which leaves his teammate open on top of Oranges, and ends up taking Dink through the smoke himself as he tries to cross into the bomb site, just to ensure that they weren't going to lose all the control at that point. So yeah, an absolutely fantastic start, and I'm pretty sure they're aware that they've done some damage on the Problem as well. So backing away from Banana, they can leave one player to hold on to the control maybe around there, and could push in towards middle, but with the time that's remaining, they don't even want to leave that player around Banana. Instead, use the numbers that they have and ensure that you are going to be able to trade successfully on towards A, where Hellraisers have made the correct call to stack up things. And, well, that was with leaving the low health player alone as well. So they are really confident on this call. And, well, hitting the initial shots rather on the MP9, it will work out with only Mutris left standing. Never mind, hang on. The USB trying to run circles around them doesn't work out. And the long-range MP9, it does some serious damage. They're both now left on the brink of death. We mentioned Problem had been low this entire time. It's 1 bullet from either, and he didn't expect the flank around from behind. Problem after that initial damage. Quick wrap on short, catches the back of Muteris, and, well, that was crazy. That should have been over already. Muteris was given quite a bit of an opportunity there to get those extra kills, and importantly, to get the bomb down. They can keep this pressure on with another force now if they want to, and that's exactly what they're going to go for.
Inferno. Man, it just blows my mind every single time. 18 HP between the 2 remaining players. It's the man with 4 who comes out on top. Another big clutch, but as you said, that's down to the last man, down to the last rifle, and T-side economy. It's a cruel beast sometimes for the CTs to try and deal with. The force buys will keep on coming. 2 AKs this time to support the 3 Galils. Again, the utility very limited, but it's keeping that pressure on. There's no opportunity for the CT side to build anything, and he's going to keep piling the pressure even higher. Problem goes down early on Banana, and once again, Hellraisers find themselves contending with a man disadvantage.
Never a fun time. At least having better weaponry to kind of back it up this time. That is one thing we need to know. You have the op even onto Godspatterov and, well, rifles across the board. This time, though, not the same amount of utility in order to hold off those bomb sites. Instead, it is going to have to be the shots being connected. And, well, the Saw obviously don't have a lot of utility either to work with. 1 smoke and 2 flashes. That'll be used only, I would imagine, as the actual hit is going to be coming in. But look at this counter aggression. We're having Godspatterov, I believe, looking to peek in on Banana. They actually end up deciding against it in the last second there, and instead leave him back on the corner so that they can rotate lane back around. The only thing is, he really doesn't have a lot of info about what's going on. He's probably not aware there's a player up close at the moment, and, well, we'll see what goes on. Actually, as the entry around Long comes in, is this going to be the split? It does look like they're set up for the B split if that's the goal, and indeed, just clearing out library before they actually move in towards that spawn. And at that point, Godspatterov is forced back off. The footsteps had been heard as well, so Just is able to start closing in the distance as he runs away back to Coffins. And, well, he needs to have a ridiculous hold right now. There is the first of the shots that are needed, but he's not able to follow up with the second one. Looking for the shoulder again as the baits are attempted by Just, but it's not going to work out. Ends up giving up his life, and that gives an advantage at least now to Hellraisers as they set up for the retake. And, well, he connected the shot there, but it wasn't enough for another kill. So suddenly we have it shifted back in favor of Saw.
Larich left in the 1v2. He's been absolutely on point so far. Clearing the angles early, trying to pre-fire anything he can. The setup is looking better and better for the T side, and he doesn't want anything to do with it. The persistence of Saw has paid off. The constant buying, the unlimited, practically, aggression. Just never say die, and it's finally paid dividends. An 11th round will come through, saving a couple of rifles. Flarich will be able to save at least one, but these back and forths, man, they are just brutal. If the CT side can't get it over the line cleanly in the final round, their economy is decimated. Godspatterov does everything he possibly could, connects 2 really nice shots, and actually finds the leg onto the 3rd man, but just not quite enough from the Orpra. And yeah, look at the economy. Look at the financial situation now. The T side, when they lose these rounds, they've got AKs, they've got Galils. The CT side, they saved that M4. There's an MP9, 3 pistols, and a handful of utility to try and make this round work, as the T's, well, they've got everything they could ever want for Christmas.
Damn, early presents. Or just really late ones, I guess. But but yeah, as you said, it's a massive contrast what the CTs are able to get on their force buys in comparison to what the T's can. Obviously, with the loss bonus going, Saw, they had the help of the bomb plants as well. It gives them so much, and, well, once Hellraisers finally get cracked, they're left with, as you said, just 1 saved rifle alongside those pistols and an SMG. And at the moment, they are at least taking the gamble to stack up A, which I like, because obviously if it comes in this direction, you have a chance to hold it off. If it ends up going towards B, you probably just save and give it a go in the next round where you would have been eco otherwise. And, well, that's exactly what is happening. They might actually catch Arky at bottom mid. So, yeah, there we go. There's an AK. That'll be a big save into this following round. They're able to get the MP9, of course, back into the hands even of Lame, and maybe they want to move for this. If they could catch Just on the bottom of Banana quickly, the bomb has only just gone down, and they do have a kit to work with, so yeah, fantastic trade. That rifle will also now be recovered, and, well, all 3 of them working in from Banana. A fantastic flash onto Muteris. He just tucks in, trying to waste some time, waiting for Roman to get in position to help out, and yeah, he will indeed. Roman holds the wall off. Muteris dealt with the player who had got up close on the car, and, well, there's 1 AK at least that's going to be saved over into this next round, and Hellraisers do make it a costly one. But the issue is they're down 12-7, and on paper should head down 13-7 before they get the guns out properly into a full investment. So it is getting a bit out of control, considering, of course, this is the third map of the series. And as we mentioned, is a very important one for Hellraisers to keep themselves out of that relegation process.
My heart can't take this, man. Every single round, there was a moment there where Hellraisers started to believe the pot flash was good. If they find that conversion, I think the rounds really starts to spiral out of control. It was well read by Saw to send the second man. The support network there again for the T side, and off the back of it, HR, they committed to it. They fought for these rounds, and as a result, they are in an awful position. Godspatterov, of course, saving the AK from the previous, but it's default pistols for all of his teammates. The nade absolutely dunks onto Lame. He takes a huge lick of damage. And yeah, Gospodarov even dealt with by Muterus over in mid in the meanwhile. Flarich and Lame, 2 default pistols, no armor, no nothing. I mean, a frag, that would be great. A saved AK-47, even better, because this CT side are going to need everything they can possibly get their hands on to bring them back into the second half.
Yeah, it is basically their last chance on this next gun round. Let's see whether Flarich or Lame can do anything here. I highly doubt it on only USPs unless they manage to catch someone off guard. But it looks like Lame is going to just kind of walk head on into them on Banana, already being low health as well. It is an easy finish for Stododo. As, well, B is gone. Flarich could get the drop. No, it's the range, though, unfortunately, and it's the strafe across the bridge. If he had caught him just, like, running down second mid with his back to him or something, maybe there could have been something done, but no, not at that angle. Arky swings across, it hits an instant headshot, and now we have a 6-round deficit for Hellraisers to try and overcome. One of their last chances on the guns, as we mentioned, they don't even have the op, unfortunately, for Godspatterov. They don't have a kit to work with. They have the bare minimum of utility, really, and well, they've got a Saw who right now are popping off, rather, to try and actually contend with. So, yeah, it is looking pretty grim right now, I've got to say. I like the attempt at the aggression, but through the smoke, it does not work out in their favor. Although they do end up coming out into a 2-on-2 somehow. Not terrible, all things considered. It was the trade back on mid, though, that has really given some control to Saw. The only thing is they need to move back and get that bomb before they can really utilize it. And that's just given time for Kalinka to get into position, rather, to potentially even cut off that bomb carrier.
Utter chaos. I think that Molotov even found a trade for one. Kalinka's position, surely not expected. He's pushed all the way through apps. He's all the way through T apps now and starting to make his way down in towards Spawn Rome. He's more concerned about Banana at this point. He's going to be looking completely the wrong way. There's nothing he can do here. And Kalinka, he's going to go for the trigger discipline. Try and bait that second man out. Try and get the info. There's potentially even a knife on the board if he wants it. But Kalinka, he's calling all this across. Finally goes for the execution. And it's Arky in the 1v2. He knows there's at least a man T ramp, but no info on Flarich whatsoever. He's got to clear all of these angles to have any chance of getting that bomb. A molly and a flash, all he's got to try and make it work, as the smoke actually for Kalinka does isolate this 1v1 a little bit. Molotov to try and deny that bomb as well. I think Arky should be able to grab that and get out of dodge. Indeed, he does. Second molly to commit. That's going to stop the aggression. Kalinka can't really afford to push that through that, so it's going to be a bomb plant. It'll be the after plant situation for Arky. One pot flash to get himself into position, and smartly, HR, they're grouping up. Both players are going to come together in through short, and Arky needs one hell of a spray down here. Utility gives the game away. Can he find the connection? Sat in the pit, waiting for his timing. There's no Molotov to flush him, and the spray down is in. Saw again coming up huge with the individuals. 2 lightning fast headshots for Arky. And that round, that had to go the way of HR if they were to have a chance in this matchup.
It was set up so well to go their way also. This is just fantastic. The little transfer right there wasn't even really, he was right on his head. Didn't have to do much with it. A little bit of a shift to the left, and yeah, quick cleanup. What a clutch from Arky. But yeah, I mean, the molly a little bit deeper right there. The bomb doesn't get retrieved. The smoke fades away before, of course, the bomb gets retrieved. Suddenly you have both players who can kind of at least work together to stop him from getting away with it. But no, he was able to just about grab it on the edge of that molly, run over towards A, and well, we seen what happened then in the after plant, and things have crumbled for Hellraisers. It looks like we're potentially having a pretty one-sided finish to Inferno if it keeps up like this. We're only going to see them really fighting back in to try and take it towards the overtime here now in this next round, which I'm surprised by considering how much they've been loving the force buys so far. But, well, maybe they can make it work with just this small bit that they've got at the moment. Spending the excess cash is what they've gone for, and, well, that was a great shot, obviously, by Kalinka. Looks ready for Roman as well if he was the push out of Boiler. Might actually even peek in on mid and take another one on Just. Not ready for the trade from Boiler, unfortunately. Did spin around and try and get the headshot lined up, but he wasn't able to do so. But he's given them a man advantage. And I was going to say a bit of warning potentially to rotate around, but they haven't budged quite yet. Unsure if this is where the full commitment is coming in or not. What a shot by Flarich. Gets himself the second. What is happening? Hellraisers on just the pistols, a bit of Kevlar to support it, and a few flashes. They managed to get themselves a lifeline.
How? Kalinka, what have you done? The first flick, this is ridiculous. Look at the adjustment there. Second one, a nice lineup. And unfortunately, yeah, as you said, can't turn around and trade for the third, but he buys enough information, enough time. Flarich can play a cheesy angle at that point. He knows he doesn't have to go for the big hero play. That's already been done and dusted. And from there, Hellraisers, that's the lifeline they were after. 8th round on the board out of absolutely nothing if we're realistic. Nade Stack will do good work onto Stododo. He's playing around with the peak top of logs. It's a risky peak indeed, considering how much damage he's already taken. He'll be able to get away with it for now, and Saw looking to up the pace a little bit. Rome, again, set up in towards Boiler. Has support from Short. Slows things right down, not wanting to commit just yet. All 5 players, this looks like a straight commitment to me. They're going to go straight through this smoke. They're going to try and isolate the early fights. Rotations won't be coming in. It's going to be all on Flarich and Kalinka to prevent this one going to map and series point. Rome has snuck his way up short. Kalinka is not giving him anything. Now the headshot peak. The wallbang not quite connecting, and Saw, they're stalling. The rotations are starting to come through. The Molotov, they might have to cancel this entirely. They've committed so much utility, and that bomb is completely stuck. Finally, Rome manages to put his foot on the gas, but Gospodarov is already here. Everybody is here for Hellraisers. All the rotations have come through, and now they cancel. They bail out of the situation. Gospodarov has smelt a rat, and he will make the rotation. There isn't a smoke to cover the cross either. This is complete madness, and Gospodarov, he's going to have a shooting gallery to work with potentially.
Oh, until he got blinded and almost got caught out in the open. Thankfully, they didn't actually check the spawn. And it was nearly Gospodarov who got the opportunity, but not connected. That means the bomb is going to go down. The health is in favor of Hellraisers, and well, so are the numbers now as they snatch Roman in towards Banana, giving them the 2 angles as well, rather, to make this retake work with. And a great molly. Doesn't actually force anyone out of that position, but it kind of minimizes, rather, the amount of angles they do need to deal with as they move in. As long as they go quickly. Flash over, not actually blinding anyone up. Arky playing for the first contact. Not able to do anything with it, and well, now they know where Just is. Instead, it needs to be Stododo who picks them up from the close angle, and he's gotten 2 of them already. It is all onto Gospodarov. He's been forced back away right now, and obviously there's no time to make this happen. So it's all about hanging on to the AWP, and that's not even allowed. It looked like that should have been it, but the dark and the orange's crossfire is just fantastic, as Stododo is the one who steps up when needed. 15-8, 7 chances now for Saw to put an end to this one. And obviously, as we can see, there is a very, very limited investment for Hellraisers to try and get anything going here. This first round is going to be the most difficult for sure, but then you still have a long road ahead of you, rather, and a lot of more difficult rounds before you can actually even get to that overtime. So this is... it's horrible. It's just a bad position for Hellraisers to be, and after we got that second map, such a good train from them as well. I was expecting a banger of a third map, and, well, the initial rounds even kind of led us to believe that was going to be the case. Saw got going, and, well, Saw never stopped.
One more Molotov, man. One more Molotov, and HR make that work. They actually throw a smoke in towards Dark to try and land it, to try and bait the idea maybe, but it doesn't happen. Stododo clearing his way up. Banana is isolated and will fall back. A little bit risky, potentially hand delivering an AK, but instead Just is there to bail his teammate out with a big frag, and Kalinka fully blind. He's got to get out of here. Does well to even find one before he's traded down, but that man advantage is still there, and it's Flarich completely alone on this B-bomb site. He's dropped the smoke to buy time, but the CTs, they haven't got enough info to necessarily commit to this rotation. There's 3 players from Saw queued up in Banana. They've got the nades lined up for the set execute, and it's going to be Flarich completely alone. Support is starting to come through now from Problem, but if they smoke CT Saw, they're going to lock him out of the situation entirely. Smoke actually goes towards the coffin. Second one should and will indeed lock Problem out of this situation, and Flarich, what have you got for us, mate? First oranges, Deagle in hand. Problem tries to go through the smoke and fails. It's all Flarich. Flash is good for 1, but that's it. And it's Gospodarov through the smoke. He can't quite find it. It's complete and utter madness, but 16-8. It will be Saw finding themselves the victory. And man, I'm going to throw this one straight over to Pilly, because how on earth do you even try and explain that?
Hello, I am Pilly. Definitely Australian. That's unfortunate. I just don't think he's on our end, unfortunately, from the
Oh.
producer. So we can probably hear you, probably just can't respond yet. But as you said, what a showing from Saw to come out with that convincing third map as well. I really thought after Train that we were gonna have a rough one here on map number 3. I didn't think either team would be able to take a clear cut. And well, that's what we got from Saw, and that was with some big clutches and stuff coming through from Hellraisers without problem and such being able to do that. Then I think we could have seen an even more one-sided game.
Yeah, the individuals really just showed up, didn't they? Saw just brought it to another level on that third map of Inferno. And Pilly, I'm sorry, man, I threw you under the bus completely and utterly. It was just too good to miss.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really, really good series. I think we saw the strengths and the weaknesses of both teams all up over a good 3 maps of Counter-Strike. I think the series definitely did deserve it, but not too surprised that it does end up going that way after all is said and done. Saw being a little bit more consistent of the two teams, so not too surprising that they show that consistency and sort of just outmaneuver, out-teamwork a little bit Hellraisers, although there were a few spicy rounds in there, weren't there, Wolfie?
Yeah, there definitely was some individuals just absolutely flying for both teams. And honestly, that seemed to be the biggest difference maker. Hellraisers, they had their individuals popping on all levels, but Saw, as much as we spoke about them, about this team that rely on their strategy, rely on their key skills, their individuals just went absolutely flying. After the pistol, I was really concerned, and it looked like Hellraisers were just on an absolute tear, but out of nowhere, Saw turned up. They started hitting these huge individual rounds. This clutch from Stododo, the 3 kills, absolutely critical. And from there on in, it just went from bad to worse for Hellraisers.
So, Dean, with how that first half was going, we saw the first couple of rounds, Hellraisers really came out of the gate swinging. You guys were saying you're feeling like there was a bit of an upset happening. What went wrong for Hellraisers there that sort of slowed down that momentum?
It kind of seemed like what happened back on Nuke, if I'm being honest. As soon as the economy got going for Saw, they just weren't able to put a stop to it. They weren't able to break it. I think it was 6 of the last 7 rounds in the half ended up going the way of Saw to let them recover what had been a pretty terrible start into it. So it seemed like Hellraisers had all of the chances really to get themselves into a fantastic position on that first half, and just couldn't make it happen again. That comes back to everyone stepping up on the side of Saw. They've got that experience together. So when they're all hitting their shots and you've got that teamwork and these clutches, as we're seeing even on the replays right now, it's just way too much for Hellraisers to handle. But I'm still optimistic for the lineup overall, even though they're having a very rough start now at 1-5. We seen the same from them when they had the previous 5-man as well. It took them a while to really get going with that lineup. So maybe once they're able to get Gospodarov kind of fit into the team, I definitely seen some good moments from him as well. Get used to the level of competition, and yeah, I'm just trying to find some positives here, really.
I mean, yeah, I think there's still plenty of positives for Hellraisers. They're still juggling around a 5th. That's what Esea Premier is about a lot of the time there, Wolfie. You often want to just develop your roster, improve on things, and a big round-robin group. You've got the best of 3 matches to improve yourself. Hopefully, we continue to see Hellraisers go strength to strength, but Saw, I'd say, you're definitely getting in the territory of securing that top 4 that we want from them and then going into playoffs, right?
Yeah, they look like a playoffs level team on, I'm going to put caveat, 5 out of 7 maps because they ban Mirage all the time and their train was awful. If we're going to be honest, it was really not fun to watch. But 5 out of 7 maps, they are looking like a serious playoff contender and they are looking mighty good across the board. So I think if they can avoid Mirage, as always, if they can maybe work on their train a little bit as well, get some time in the server cracking that one out. It just looked like they weren't ready for the aggression of Hellraisers on the CT side especially. They just didn't seem aware of it at all. If they deal with that, if they iron those creases out of their play, they seem like a very strong contender for Pro League.
And how about Hellraisers there, Dean? What do you think they need to work on, looking at some of the strengths and the weaknesses today?
Yeah, it seemed like a lot of the time when things started going wrong, it seemed like some of the players were like, oh, I need to make a play happen right now. Like you'd see, for example, Lame at points going on for an individual play up Banana or whatever. And they just kind of forget some of those fundamentals of needing to have the ability to at least attempt the trade, even if you don't manage to get it. Just so, because there's no point putting yourself into a 50-50 one-on-one duel where if you do end up losing it, you don't have someone who's able to actually go ahead and at least have a chance at returning that favor and putting your team at least in an okay position to get some control off the back of actually losing someone. Most of the time we were just seeing them kind of being picked off, then Saw be able to sit with that advantage, and again with their experience with the team chemistry that they have, they're just able to kind of grind out those rounds then and end up getting us this kind of result that we seen with the 2-1.
Yeah, we did have the 2-1 in this series, but we did have some other games going on simultaneously alongside this one. So let's take a look at the schedule here and see some of those results and how things did end up breaking down. That is a spicy match number 2 there that I'm seeing there. Wolfie, what the hell's going on?
I have no idea. That's going to be a demo watch afterwards, isn't it? Singularity taking the 2-0 over Whistler. Okie dokie. I mean, even looking further down, right? I mean, Four's dropping a map to Fate. That's always going to surprise me. Windstrike, I think they would have been disappointed not taking over Gamer Legion, but I would have liked to have seen Gamer Legion at least contesting on a map. I mean, I'm definitely going to be going through and watching at least that second and third game over again because they look like they could be real interesting.
Yeah, even that 2-0 for Windstrike over Gamer Legion that I'm looking at down the bottom. I think Gamer Legion right in the middle of the table, sort of contesting for that middle of the pack that we were talking about. Could have been a potential if you saw the Hellraisers upset with Saw there. Yeah, I would agree with you over that Fate. Although I did see Fate changing up a couple of their players there, Dean. What do you think about those changes as well as these two results over here?
I actually didn't get to catch the Fate changes, I don't believe. I was actually just having a look there at the LDLC result because that was the one that kind of caught me off guard. And yeah, I mean, it's not surprising when I had a look and when I seen on the scoreboard that it was Haji and Maku who really showed up big time. But overall, I would have expected that to maybe be the 3-map series with Sangal being able to give them a good run and maybe even being the ones who were going to take it. So that one kind of caught my eyes. Anonymous over Nexus, yeah, I think that was pretty much a given at that point. Obviously, you have Nexus, who are right down at the bottom of the leaderboards. I don't think have even picked up a win yet. And then you have Anonymous, who have just come out firing with that kind of mixture of veteran talent that they have and then the kind of new players. Let me have a look at Fate again, because we did cover them last week, but I've somehow gone ahead and just forgotten what the changes were.
I think it was pretty recent. I only saw the HLTV article. While you're taking a look at that, though, Dean, obviously we do have a couple more games still to come in terms of ESEA Premier, in terms of the round robin group. I mean, we're getting towards the tail end of things, but you guys are covering some of those games tomorrow there, Wolfie. So what games are we looking at?
Oh, I should have prepped this, shouldn't I? I knew you were going to throw me under the bus.
Sprout, I believe.
There we go.
AGO
Sprout.
Ready. Apparently, that's what we've got. He's ready. He knows what he's
That's a
doing.
good game.
I'm a little bit less prepared, but yeah, that's
that
actually sick. I'm properly excited for that now. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow.
Yeah, you guys are going to be over on that B stream grinding away. Dean, are you on the control panel over there? You know, everything's on fire. You're sort of putting out all the files while simultaneously casting. It's not an easy thing to do. You're a man of many talents, huh?
I've not got to do too much on it, thankfully. If they were expecting replays and everything, then yeah, that'd be a bit much. But I could click a few buttons, then we just get into the casting, and well, it does most of the stuff itself for me at that point, so I don't mind.
Alrighty, well, a couple buttons were clicked both by the casters and the production and some of the players. So we had some pretty good games to go along with it, but that will be the end of the European portion of the broadcast for ESEA Premier today. Thanks for tuning in, boys, and if you stick around for a couple of hours, maybe go out, grab some food, come back a little bit later, we'll have some NA games ready for you. I'll see you then.